What's up, everybody? It is Paris, and I am so happy to have everybody come on today. Bring y'all asses up in here. This is going to be a good show. We have Brother King Simon. Um, this man is so amazing. He has helped me so much throughout my journey, and I can't believe I'm now just having him on my show, but I feel like maybe this was the perfect time. I got more people on my YouTube channel, so I'm just very happy to have Brother King Simon. So before I have him, peace, family, peace. Before I have him on the show, I just want to just tell you about my personal experience with Brother King Simon. When I came back from Job Corps, I don't even remember the year. My mom had told me about this amazing bookstore named Nicholas Brooklyn, and I had met Brother King Simon at Nicholas Brooklyn, but I wasn't as yet working there. I was just a person that came to the bookstore, and Brother King Simon I actually was working for Brother King Simon. He gave me some flyers, and I was promoting whatever promotions that he had me going, and he also paid me. So he was the first one to get me in the hustle. And I'm very thankful for that, because I'm not really at the time I wasn't really such a open person as far as speaking to people. But Brother King Simon then brought me underneath his wing, and he obviously saw something within me, and I'm so thankful. This man had pushed me to write my ebooks. He pushed me to start my Udemy course, and he just pushed me overall. And anytime I ever had needed a friend, he was always there for me. Anytime that people had spoken about me, he was always the one to defend me. And he is just such an overall great man. He's an overall great man. And he is loved by so many of us. He's loved by so many of us. I see you guys in the chat ready. Y'all ready for the lessons today? So I have a lot of his books. I have this book that I have. The Numbers Are Simple for the children. Okay, this is his children. One of the children book. I also have the other children book. I forgot to bring it out. I have Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated by Brother King Simon. And my favorite is Beat Up. But this one, Numerovation for Mental Stability. And a lot of you guys, anytime you get a reading from me, I usually use this book to help break down your numbers here. So with that being said, let's bring Brother King Simon up. Before we bring him up, I want you guys, this is, he's a big shotter. All right, so y'all better make sure y'all hit them PayPals. This is his information right here. All right, his Venmo and his Zelle. Okay, so let's get to it. All right, let's bring up Brother King Simon. What's up, King Simon?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Let me remove this background, because I don't know why I put the background.
I like it.
You like it? Because I know the board is behind me.
Oh yeah, we got the board. Okay, we got the board.
So let me remove it. Okay, let me keep the board, because that's what I like to do. I don't like to keep people bored. I want to use the board. You know.
Yes, that's right.
But thank you very much for that grand introduction. Usually I'm the one introducing a lot of different people on stage and all that kind of stuff. But thank you. That was a great introduction.
Oh, I mean, I try. So, hey. Brother King Simon, people know you as this noble man, the Numerovation, this promoter. But where are you from? Where are you from? Where did you grow up at? Let's get a little bit of know about who's Brother King Simon.
Well, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I've lived in Brooklyn. I had a place in Queens. I've had a place in Manhattan briefly. I had a place in the Bronx. I was married in the Bronx, my second marriage. But also, my family is an Afro-Cuban Jamaican family from the Maroons and the Arawak family. So I got a lot of lineage going on there too, as well as connected to the American hip hop world and everything that I've been doing, and the reggae world throughout my life. I've been a part of a lot of different organizations since, and that's what got me on a lot of my journeys. Through 5% Nation of Gods and Earth. Instead of joining gangs, where I was also presented with that option, I wanted to join something that provided knowledge, and that was the 5% at 14 years of age, coming out of junior high school, going into Martin Luther King High School, and then getting kicked out of there because of weed consumption at that time. And then moving to Erasmus after that, and then getting kicked out of there because of weed consumption and fighting security. As much as you see the smile, I was in a lot of turmoil with security back in the day, and I had to go take my GED and get the heck out, and do what I had to do at 17, 18 years of age. So yeah, at actually 16, I got kicked out of school, and then I had to take my GED, and then I went into the Islamic realm, and in the 5% going back is where I went into where I learned about the mathematics. Islam is mathematics and mathematics is Islam, and it always stands true. And understanding which each number represented in the mathematics, of course, one being knowledge, then two being wisdom, and three understanding, going all that down into 5%, then going into the Ansarullah community on Bushwick Ave. Those who know that community, they call it the Nuwapian today, but back in the day, we was called the Ansar. And he taught us Hebrew, Arabic, Greek, and I was into numbers, the abjad, and studying about Kabbalah and learning those different nuances from there. Then I left there and went into the Nation of Islam under Dr. Khalid and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, learning that mathematics, going back to the 5% lessons again, and leave. And when I left the Ansars is when I met Lloyd Strayhorn in 89. And then I joined the Nation of Islam in 90. But Lloyd was the one that really convinced me of this connection by him just breaking my name and my number down on a radio show called the Imhotep Gary Bird Experience on WLIB, WBLS. So that's where I started really saying, I'm going to get into this number stuff. Lloyd's book wasn't the first book I bought. I bought Helen Hitchcock's books, which I have still here, raggedy and it's old. And that book, I used that. And then I connected with Lloyd finally through different means, because both of us was on radio. I was a radio host, television host through New York City, through New York, Jersey, and Connecticut. I've been a reggae artist, number 5 on the reggae chart. I mean, through Canada to Jamaica and reaching all over Japan. My music was in England back, and I was performing with Shabba, Shaggy. Me and Shaggy went to Erasmus Hall, Red Fox, Screechy Down. I performed with Public Enemy, opened up a hip hop conference at Public Enemy in the 90s, and also performed and opened up for Ice Cube back in the day. So I've done a lot of work in different genres of life. I've gotten around. I've been around. Like Tupac, I got around. You know what I'm saying? I did security for Tupac when I was in the Nation.
We heard.
Yeah, I did a lot of things, because we trained heavily in the martial arts, especially when you're in the Nation. You train heavy in especially when you're in Islamic communities, period. We trained heavy, early morning, all the way till the afternoon, or sometimes the late afternoon, depending on if we had to work or not work. That's just how we live. And to this day, I still train. And I've been training since I was probably since I was a teenager, early teenagers, from 12, 13. I've been training for years. Yeah. So, but wow. I enjoy learning, because we was into the whole 52 blocks and what they call jailhouse and all that kind of stuff when I was young. So the Bruce Lee movies and Jim Kelly movies used to come on TV, and we used to go to the movie theaters over on Fulton Street. And we used to be, I've lived in Crown Heights. I've lived in Fort Greene area, Clinton Hill area. I went to PS11 also, where Biggie went, Notorious Big IG, but he went there after me, of course, because I'm a little older than him. But I went to PS11 in different places, and again, from just learning that life in Brooklyn, raised by a single mother, because she did throw up my father because of his madness and stuff, but he was coming back and forth. But seeking that manhood energy, I had to go to those organizations instead of going into the Jolly Stompers. It wasn't no Bloods and Crips back in my day. It was the Jolly Stompers. It was the young Lords. It was Baby Skulls, Young Skulls, and all that. The Savage Skulls. All that was in my era. The Bishops and all that was in my era. 'Cause I'm 57 years of age, and I'm just, I'm aging backwards because 5 + 7 = 12. So I'm in my second childhood. So I'm enjoying it.
We have a person on the chat before we even get into the
Yes.
questions. Bone Crusher asks, King Simon, do you have a mentorship program?
First and foremost, my Jesnership program. I don't say mentor because that comes from the Greek and the freaks and the Romans of mentoring boys, or mentor in history was one who had young boys and actually had sex with them to give them knowledge. So I don't say anything about mentor. I don't do mentor. Respectfully to him, he don't understand. Bone Crusher don't understand. But if you study history, you'll know why you got to be very careful of the language that the Greeks or those freaks have given us from their Euro perspective, your Euro Greek perspective. But no, I do not have a Jesnership program. Jesner means accountable teacher from the Ethiopian language. Jesna, not mentor. Jesna. That's the accountable teachers and guides. Both women and men can be Jesners. So no, but my Jesnership is through my YouTube channel. My Jesnership is through what I produce, the different lectures and programs that I produce. My Jesnership is through my membership on my YouTube channel, King Simon Presents. My Jesnership is when you are consulted for me, because I really want people.
The books too. The books, you guys.
Yeah, all my books, and I got like 5 more books that I have to write before I leave this realm. It don't mean after the 10 books that I've completed I'm going to leave the realm immediately, but I know I'm just going to keep on and just bask from that and keep on moving what I have to do. But I really want people to remember that you are your own teachers. You are your own Jesners. Your spirit and your ancestors are there to guide you. We can just point you the way. And at the end of the day, I don't want nobody to follow me and be under me. I want everybody to understand their way and to learn as much as they can, but do it their way. Like Frank Sinatra said, born December the 12th, I did it my way. Do it your way, because you might see numbers different than I see numbers. You might recognize names and frequencies different than I see. That's why I never call anybody my students. They're my participants, because we're both participating in you learning and I'm teaching. And sometimes my participants come up with amazing things that I've never seen before. And I got to say, yo, if you came up with that, beautiful. Keep on shining and keep on growing in that perspective. But no, I do not. I know that was a long answer, but I do not have a Jesnership program.
Let me so just to go on the topic on why we are here, we're speaking about aligning mind and spirit using numerovation for emotional balance.
Mm-hmm.
This year, a lot of people have went through a lot of transformations. It's been a lot. I had lost my wala this year. And there's just a lot of people going through a lot of sickness right now.
Yes.
How first of all, please, I know you had blessed me with one of your courses, like the one is an unlisted one, and you spoke about the numbers being masculine and feminine and this, that, and the third.
Right.
How can we be able to start to align our mind and spirit using numerovation for emotional balance? How can we, on a daily day, or at least today's lesson, be able to align ourselves and look into numbers and see in that wholeness?
What I always suggest to my participants is to start studying the patterns and cycles of it in your own family, and then look at their numbers and see if you have similar numbers that you may can attract to you. And it could go with blood pressure, it could go with stomach issues, it could come with a lot of things, mental health, because the numbers are not telling you that you will have that particular ailment or dis-ease. It's just alerting you and reminding you to pay attention that you could attract those particular diseases. So as long as you understand that you could attract, that means you will be alert on what you need to do in this realm as far as maintaining a certain discipline with your health, mental health. Because when you go to the WHO organization, the World Health Organization, this is a major organization. They say there is no health but mental health, because there's no physical health without mental health. There's no spiritual health without the balance of mental, spiritual, and physical health. There's no, so you got to understand that mental health is a thing that deals with the balance of physical, spiritual, and also on another level that can help keep you on a higher level where you need to exist. So again, getting back to the point, go back to your family, because remember, when you go to doctors, they always ask you if you had a history of this in your family or a history of that. You can find a history through numerology, astrology, cardology, tarot, all of that. You could really find a history if you delve deep. I use the tarot numerology because that reveals a lot to me on that, from that perspective. Although I might not deal totally with the full symbolism that was created over years after Italy took it from Kemet and did what they had to do, but I do study it. I do study and research, but you got to recall and study for yourself and create your own symbolism, because and repetition, to avoid going down those tracks. Like in my family, my grandfather, one of my who transitioned at the age of 103, he was born September the 9th, right? And he was born September. When I do his chart, he's born 9 plus 9 plus 1909, right? That's his birthday. All right. So when I looked at his birthday so his birthday 1909 adds up to 1927. When you add that number, the 10 plus the 9 equals 19, which is a 10, which is 1. That rules circulation, blood circulation, how things circulate through his tubes, through his digestive system. That ruled that. So once I looked at that, and he had colon issues at certain parts of his life, but what I realized, that even in his name, he had a lot of numbers that could lead to stomach and digestive issues. But this man decided to do he decided not to do a surgery because they wanted him to do a colon surgery and all that. He said, no, I'm going to go to the herbs. He went to the herb because he's an earth sign, being a Virgo. He went to the earth. So now and that's without me telling him about numbers and all that kind of stuff. He knew what he had to do, because when you're growing up in an island like Jamaica has a lot of heat. So you're already getting a natural sauna. And then he was a contractor that did a lot of work. So when they wanted him to do this colon therapy in his 80s, he refused to do that. And he still lived by going to the backyard or to his land and digging up the herbs, and boom. And he was still a meat eater. But this time he understood that he had to filtrate whatever he's doing with his meat. He had to add more vegetables and do his herbs and his drinking and all that kind of stuff. Where my grandmothers came here and died at an early age. They came to America from Jamaica and died here at an early age, where he lived to 103. Both my grandfathers lived. One lived to 92 and one lived to 93. My other grandfather, who lived to 92, who suffered from diabetes, he was born December 22nd. I don't remember the year he was born, but that number 2 again rules the circulation and the stomach area. Got to deal with stomach. That number 2, if you look in my book, Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated, it talks about the stomach area, that the 2, and the digestive system. So obviously, whatever he was doing throughout his life led up to diabetes because of his eating habit and what he intake. And remember what Dr. Africa used to say years ago: we can eat ourselves into an early grave. That part. So in as far as health is concerned, this is a good book for the health, because this is Numbers Are Simple. Children's health is important.
It's amazing.
But it says a basic health guide for children and adults.
Yes, it's really good.
I put that there for a reason.
It's so crazy. You, oh my God. So before I can even get into that, is there any numbers? Yeah. We have a question in there, but I want to wait until we're done with the questions before.
Sure.
Is there any number specifically that should be more aware of mental, maybe depression or, the psychosis? And
yes.
Is there any numbers to be aware of, or people should be aware of if they have that number, et cetera, et cetera?
Of course. And let me remind your audience, please like, subscribe, and share this right now.
Yes.
Because to at least 5 people, matter of fact, she's born on the 17th, to at least 8 people, 1 plus 7 equals 8, but at least 8 people share, because this is important information, whether people believe it or not. All right. Whether you're a Bible bumper, remember, the book of Numbers is in your Bible for a reason. Go figure that one out if you're a Bible thumper. So, yes, in my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, I talk about 5 main numbers for mental health. I talk about the number 4, the number 7, the number 8, the number 5, and the number 3. And 5 and 3. So in other words, for your audience to get better clarity, let's say you are connected to the 4 in any way, whether you're born on the 13th, the 22nd, the 31st of the month, or you're connected to the number 7, born on the 7th, the 16th, or the 25th of the month, or you're born on the 8th, born on the 8th, or the 17th, or the 26th of the month, or you're born on the 5th, you're born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of the month, or you're born on the 3rd, which is the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month. If you're born under any of those frequency, you can attract a certain level of mental health if you don't learn to manage your weaknesses and strengthen your strength. That's a very important part. That's why it's not that the number itself is a mental, straight down the crazy, the so-called mental instability, but it means it can attract mental health if you don't learn to balance your mental health. So number 4 being the first primary one. If you read my book or you read Lloyd's book is the one that prompted me to really go and look into it, because in his book, he says the number 4, or people connected to the 4, or you might be in a 4 personal year. You might be in a 4 personal month cycle. Your name might add up to a 4. Your first name might add up. Your middle name, your last name might add up to a 4. Yes, that means you can still attract whatever ailments that can be presented by the number 4. So when you go into Lloyd's book and he talks about it, where I come out and say straight up, it deals with suicide and self-infliction. So you got to be very careful being born under that 4, that 13, and that 31, and that 22 of the month. As a matter of mathematical fact, no one knew my great-grandfather's birthday, but they knew his name, and his name was Claude. And when I broke down his name in one of the systems of numerology in this book, I put it in there. It added up to the master number 22, and 22 is a 4. 22 is an emotional number. The number 2 is an emotional number, being naive or a relationship and all that kind of stuff. Did you know my great-grandfather hung himself because of a relationship? His wife was fooling around behind his back, and he decided to take his own life on his own. I didn't know his birthday, but his name said he would be able to attract something like that to him, because it added up to master number 22. And although it's a master number, with great power comes great responsibility. So when you have a master number, everybody wants to have master number 11, master 22, and 33. It's not an easy vibration to carry. And I tell people that. So I don't prop up the master numbers like they're the glorious thing. They're powerful numbers. And like I said, with great power comes great responsibility. So if you're born under number 11, born under 22, got a lot of 33s or 44, just like in your name, Paris Williams, the double L is the 33. But nobody's looking at all of those nuances like certain numerologists might look at. I see it more in the older numerologists than the newer ones. They'll just go right through that LL and not realize that as intensity, but it also adds a certain intensity, because of the LL in both systems is 3-3, and those are master numbers that whatever the name Williams equate to, it adds more intensity to that name. That's what you got to understand. So when I do this, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this because I'm willing to always participate in studying and learning all aspects of numbers. So it's a powerful system if used with the most positive and intentions. That's why I have intentions on this board. Positive or negative, you can go down the most positive intentions. That's the job of anybody that came to serve you as a tarot reader, as a tarot advisor, or numerology advisor, or astrology advisor. If you're going to advise, make sure you uplift, motivate, but let them be aware of their weaknesses that they can attract to themselves.
Yeah. When I was in Job Corps, I believe I was 17 at the time. I tried to unalive myself in Job Corps. And I went into the crazy home. They put me in the crazy home for, I believe I was there for 2 days, and then they reevaluated me. And I realized I wasn't crazy. And then when I came out, I found the book, The Secret, and The Secret changed my life.
Yeah, I got that book many years.
It was on the floor. It was on the floor. Like literally, I just got out and the book wasn't there. And I turned around, the book was on the floor like an angel just dropped it right there.
And books show up like that all the time, man. Me too. I mean, I was at a park the other day when I was in New York, like a couple months ago, and this book by Chiron was in the park.
What?
By Chiron, the New Human and Evolution Humanity. I was working out in the park near my mother's house while I was visiting with her, and boom, this book is on the bench, dirty. And I said, I cleaned this off. I said, oh no. I kept on passing it. I ran past it twice. And I said, because it was dirty, it looked a little nasty. And I said, a homeless person probably had it, but that homeless person left it right there. This is by Chiron is Lee Carroll, the one that even Aaron Lyons speak about. This guy here. So, I mean, he channels this thing called Chiron.
Yeah.
So it's a powerful, and I found it in the park. So you always got to pay attention to what is going on in the realms around you. Even when you're jogging, there's always a message.
It's always a message.
A lesson. And you can either turn that lesson into something that you don't want to learn, or you could turn that lesson into a blessing that you needed to learn. Oh yeah, we get it in now.
But you had said the number 8.
Yes,
one of the mental numbers, and
that's right.
I feel like when I was younger, that was very, like, I had that very low time in my life. So you clarifying that same number, though the 8 number is one of the mental health numbers,
and you remember your name starts, your original name starts with a D.
D.
And that's a 4. That's a 4, and that's one of the lead numbers that led your name. And your name Paris that you use starts with a 7 in the Pythagorean and an 8 in the Chaldean. So you still have those mental numbers in alignment with you. That's why you got to manage your weaknesses when it comes to thoughts that might try to pull you down, or things that might try to pull you down. You got to always go high. Remember, according to MIT, this is an old study for 30 years, older than me and you probably. But I always heard when I was in Les Brown's class back in the day, when he used to be in New York, I was in his class for absolutely free. He was teaching a whole month in New York, a hotel back in 2005. And Les Brown says, according to MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, in a study that they did and conducted, it takes 16 positive to knock out 1 negative. Now, because we have so much social media, it might even be more than that. But 16 positive to 1 negative, that means if you listen to 1 minute of negative stuff, you have to put at least 16 minutes of positive stuff in your head after that. Wow. Think about it. So if you're listening to 1 hour of negative music or low frequency music, you have to listen to 16 hours of positive music to move that out of your system.
Yeah.
Figure that one out. I love this.
So
go ahead.
You had spoke about basically people to first find out these, to get back to the topic, aligning mind and spiritual using numerovation of emotional imbalance.
Right.
What you had spoke about basically first finding it out with the family, finding out from your roots.
Right.
Do they look at their last name and break down the last name? How do people are able to basically connect first to the blueprint of what they need to work on using numerovation?
Good question. I love that question, because remember, if you have a first, middle, and last name, your first name is the active name, which more than likely your parents gave you, and that was the frequency that you are working with. Even if you change your name, that frequency still works. Still there. You might have to still heal from that frequency. Interesting. Your middle name represents the bridge, where it's bridging the gap between the active name and your last name. The last name is the inheritance. It's what you have inherited from the people. And when women get married, if they take on another person, they're inheriting their vibration also. So yes, you can look at the last name and find out what were some of the things that they may have carried, other than if their middle name or your mother's middle name or last name or your mother's first name and last name. Other than that, you can look at that last name. So when you change your name, you always got to also do the frequency of that last name to see if it is helpful or it can be stressful to you. Because remember, we deal with power and we deal with constructive, destructive, obstructive. So you got to be very careful who you marry, what names you take on. That's why some women will not change their last name, or they will hyphenate their name to maintain their frequency. So I understand that. But yes, you can look at the last name for that. But again, if you start seeing, like, for instance, in my family, I noticed that there was a lot of 7s and 4s in my family, especially with my father being born on the 25th, my mother being born, my sister being born on the 22nd. Then I had my mother being born on the 21st. All of them are mental health numbers. All of them have a possibility to attract mental health. So that's where you got to always be able to look at the different nuances. Now, again, it doesn't mean that they will be that you will suffer from mental depression. It just means that you can attract that ailment to you, just like any other dis-ease. You could attract it to you if you're not disciplined or if you're not alert that it's in your family. And sometimes we got to learn to break those cycles of those quote unquote diseases that might be in our family. High blood pressure, diabetes, because we're still eating the same way they're eating. We gotta learn how to, like Honorable Elijah Muhammad would say, how to eat to live. That's important. That was one of my favorite books, other than studying Dr. Sebi and Dr. Africa after that. But I was in the nation from a young age, so I had it. So, but yes, you can look at the last name. Getting back to the point. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We already at 7 o'clock, huh?
I know.
You said you wanted to get.
I know. And people now just climbing in. It's 31. We give it another 15 minutes. Let's just give it a nice power 15.
I'm good. You got some big questions. I love it.
When it comes down to us just being able to stick to the topic, is there any advice for people other than what you have spoken about, breaking down, finding out what's the family? Is there any advice that you will give to the people that want to know more? Because you have a few questions, but a lot of it has to do with like more angel numbers and stuff like that. I want to stick to our conversation about.
And I do want to let people know I do have an angle and angel number book coming out in 2025. I'm finishing up all the detail. I'm going to be doing a lot of editing in the next couple of weeks.
I'm definitely getting that.
And Billy Carson wants to be the publisher for that particular one. So that's going to be big on the market when it goes.
Congratulations.
Oh, you know how we do. We got to, and I tell people, once I fly, other people gonna fly with me. So Paris is one of them people that's gonna fly, because I send people to her also. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do it. I shout her out and put her all the time, put her on Front Street all the time, because she's talented. And when you're born under those water signs or water energies and those earth signs and earth energies, there's some talent that comes with it. That's why you have to look at you have to go deep within to find out your gift, because the gift has always been there since you was a child, but a lot of us ran away from the gift.
Yes.
A lot of us dropped the ball on the gift because of life be lifing, sometimes on a negative way, instead of recognize that life be lifing on a positive way too. It's positive. There's remember, everything. The ego has a positive part of it and a negative. That's the one that you showed on your clip there, which is the 6 and the 9, and 6 and 9 has positive and negative. So the ego allows us to get in front of this camera to come and teach you.
Yeah.
That's the positive form of ego. The negative form of ego is when you are boastful and negative about that energy and that gift that you got, and you start doing devastating things to other people. That's the negative of the ego. So you getting up to go and brush your teeth, wash your face, to go out and meet the new day, to go to school or go to your job. That's ego. People don't realize. So we need the ego. It's just that, like Les Brown says, are you etching God out, or are you enhancing God's originality? What are you doing? I'm enhancing God's originality from me. I don't want to etch the God out of me, because all of us are gods having a human experience.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I'm God meeting Paris. meeting Paris as God. Your God in the chat meeting us and listen to us as God. Mm-hmm. We are all, ye are God's children of the Most High God. Psalms 82 verse 6. Come on, let's do it. I love the Bible. I got a whole bunch of them.
Wow. So do you know, when it comes down to, do you believe that people have phases in their life? I know you spoke about like the years, and do you know like when it's a bad time, or like it's a slow time to do certain things, and is it a good time to enhance certain things? Like I know for me, I could be able to do a year prediction and know which months to enhance, to go hard, and then there's certain months that I know that's going to be a little bit more challenging. Exactly. Yes. Is that a thing when it comes down to your numerovation as well?
Of course, it's because remember, numerology is not psychic per se. It helps to enhance your intuitive abilities, but numerology is basically what it means is the study of numbers, but the study of numbers of patterns, cycles, and sequences. Now, a lot of people like to lump it into fortune telling, because it can be such a precise mathematical connection when it comes to studying the interpretations of these numbers that have been passed down from antiquity, from our ancestors all the way down. It's just that, yes, you can actually identify and recognize what cycle you're coming out of and what cycle you're going into for the next 100 years if you want, the next 10 years, the next 20 years. I have a whole 100-year plan based on my numerology.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And then I went and Googled, and then I went on AI and said, and they gave me some extra stuff to think about while I'm doing it. So I said, oh, see, because the word, the abbreviation AI adds up to a number 10 in the Pythagorean and a number 2 in the Chaldean. And 10 in tarot is the wheel of fortune energy. Mm-hmm. So you can go either way. It's just, are you willing to cycle in the most positive and productive way, or you want to go down the negative way? Right. And then the number 2 that shows up in the Chaldean system, that means bring balance to whatever you're doing with the AI. Mm-hmm. Bring balance. Don't run away. I'm not talking about the word artificial intelligence, because not everybody is saying artificial intelligence. When you're dealing with numbers, one thing I love about numbers, especially the Chaldean system can identify what you are called the most, or what word is being said the most, and then it brings out the esoteric truth out of that word. Chaldean, and it's an older system from the Black Chaldeans. Let me show you the book from the original Black Chaldeans. Oh, this is a good book to have in your arsenal so you can know what you're doing, but this is where it all come from. Right. You know, that's where Pythagoras went and stole it from all the melanated people. And let me not say Pythagoras stole. He probably paid his money and paid his dude and did his thing. But always remember, when missionaries come in, they got the military with them, or they got somebody that's trained to be able to fight and protect them, because you need protection. You're going into new lands, new places. So let's not play games with this. My father was a former Marine, but he's now a minister. But when he goes in there, him and his ministers, they're former trained men. Wayne Dyer, former military. Mr. Rogers, former military. Go and study their past.
Wow.
That part. Good, beautiful day in this neighborhood. You would never think that man has so many kills under his belt as far as a military person. You never think about it. Beautiful day in this neighborhood, Mr. Rogers. We're not thinking. We're not thinking, and we don't go into the history of it. I got a book. Let me show y'all the book, if you don't mind. I'm going to go get the book.
Go ahead.
I'll get busy now. I was watching the movie Constantine. That's why people like Phil Valentine, KT, the Arts Degree, Jewel Pookham, and Dr. Blair used to tell us to study movies. Do not just go there for entertainment. Everybody who watched the movie Constantine, y'all see the taxi scene when the demon fell on top of the cab with Shia LaBeouf. How many people paid attention to the book that was on the dashboard?
I didn't even peep.
Satanism and Witchcraft. That was the book that was on the dashboard. And it's not even about that. It's about what they did in medieval times. That's why it says Satanism and Witchcraft, a study in medieval superstition. Because multi-million-dollar movies put particular sciences in there, but if we're not, that's what Bobby Hemmett and Panic and them taught us. But if we're not looking at the little nuances, this was just on the dashboard like this. And I said, Oh, I zoomed in on it. I said, oh, I got to get that book. Got the book. Cost me a good amount of money. Written in 1973, Constantine movie. This is based on superstition, because if you're practicing what we're practicing, or you're on a spiritual journey in medieval times, especially amongst Europe, they will burn you as a warlock. This is real talk. Mm-hmm. It's telling you the history of it. And this in the Encyclopedia Britannica, they said this book. This is the quote that the Encyclopedia Britannica said about this, the blurb that they gave it. It says, the most important work on medieval superstition yet written. It's right here in the back of the book. So why, when I got the book, I was like, oh, I needed this in my collection. Because it helps me to understand superstition, doom, 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 writings on the wall. Them people. Them European people, enough respect to the European, I have a lot of European clients, but those understanding that was under religious, dogmatic mentality is the one that want to burn you as a witch, or burn you as a warlock, or burn you as practicing Satanism. This knowledge, y'all got to remember, I remember Joel Benjamin asking me a question in one of his podcasts. He said, what do you say about people who say this is the devil? I said, who created the devil, sir? Crickets. God created the devil. So it's a matter of intentions when you're using this type of knowledge. Are you going to use it for the positive or the negative?
Just like numbers and anything.
Exactly.
Anything.
That's right. You got good angels, bad angels. We watched the Wiz. We had the good witch. We had the bad witch. Always have duality. So if you're using numbers and astrology and all that, like Crowley did it under the negative pretenses, then you're going to get the effects of it. If you're using under the positive, like myself and Paris is doing, then we're going to get the positive effects. Yes. That's how you got to look at things.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it.
Because there is definitely, there's even with numbers, like I know some people will be like, oh, you need to be careful with them numbers because people go crazy.
Exactly.
How, because we're about to wrap it up, and I hope everybody's loving it. They loving it. Is there certain numbers that you think that should stay away from certain esoteric things, or is it open for everyone? Do you think everybody's open to the esoteric, or there's certain numbers that should be a little bit more cautious of what they put themselves into, or what they get themselves into than other numbers?
When it comes to the compound numbers, remember, every number has its positive and negative. Simple as that. Keep it simple. If you keep it simple, but when you start getting into the compound numerology, like Book of Numbers by Chiron. This is one of Lloyd Strayhorn's teacher through reading knowledge. Lloyd introduced me to this guy, Chiron. He was of the 1800s, born November the 1st. And when you go into the compound numbers, the double numbers, it tells you which compound is fortunate or which is not fortunate. Like the number 16, in tarot what the number 16 is that shattered citadel, the tower struck. So that can be a very, very, very powerful numbers, of destruction and things falling. But the positive of that's why I always, in my book, although I quoted all of this stuff inside my book, I always got to give the numerovational perspective of it and show you it's a tower, it's a symbolism that they're telling you about. But they said towards the end of the symbolism, listen to what they said. This is towards the end he says, it appears as a compound number relating to the future. It is a warning sign that should be carefully noted and plans made in advance and endeavors to avert its fatality and its fatal tendency. So 16 may be devastating on one level, but if you don't plan and you plan to fail, then that's when it becomes something devastating. The number 11, even in his book, he talks about the number 11 being an ominous number for the occultists of giving warning to danger, trials, tribulations, and treachery. It's the clenched hand. It's the lion's muzzle on the negative. But they don't tell you the positive. It's a spiritual teacher, the spiritual guide. It's one that says you need to always pay attention on a higher level and pay attention to your downloads. But Jesus, the name Jesus added up to the number 11. The name Muhammad added up to the number 11. Muhammad got poisoned because, remember, 11, you got to be careful of deception and treachery. Jesus got hung on the cross, so they say, but he had to pay attention to the deception and the treachery of Judas.
Wow.
You just have to be aware. These numbers are going to tell you it's positive and negative. And that's why I put the numerovational perspective behind all that Kira was saying. And I just didn't leave it there. I can't leave it there because there was a girl that used to come to Nicholas that used to do palm reading. I don't know if you remember.
I remember her. Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey. She used to say, oh, I don't get into numbers. I don't remember. Because she was probably introduced to numbers from a certain perspective instead of knowing the balance of the numbers. Because that would have helped with her palm reading, just like Lloyd Strayhorn is a palm reader also. It will help because if you're introduced to it from a negative way, then you will have, especially if you're from a young age, then you'll hold on to that. I know she was born August the 5th, I remember. So I know she was that 8 energy and that 5 energy. She probably had anxiety around those numbers and all that kind of. So I already seen that when she said that, I said, really? When your birthday? And I said to myself, oh, yeah, you can't tell her nothing right now because her mind is there. And when you need to go somewhere else with it and find the positive of it and then use that. That's why A.R. Bernard, the pastor over there at CCC, went to his church years ago, and he said,
"I love CCC. I love that."
Yeah, church. Yeah, you gotta have a guest list to get in there.
Yes.
He said, you got to learn to manage your weaknesses and strengthen your strengths. In numbers, in astrology, in tarot, whatever you're doing, people, we the consultants and the advisors might give you some good advice, and give you the positive and negative of it, but you got to learn to manage the weakest part of it, the negative part of it, or the destructive part of it, and then take it to the next level and start pushing that destructive part and staying on the positive aspect of what was told to you in a session with myself or people like Paris.
Listen, man, I first of all, if you guys feeling this, y'all better contact, donate. If we want more Brother King Simon on the channel, y'all need to make sure y'all adding up and definitely throw some dollars at him. Okay,
go to my channel, come to my channel, join my
membership. Go to Brother King Simon's channel, which I'm always sharing on the community board, and I want you guys to also book a consultation because. Let me tell you something. I wouldn't have been where I'm at without King Simon and Lloyd Strayhorn. I remember Lloyd Strayhorn had told me he said something about the time I was going to have children at age 25, which I did. He told me something about my skin by age 28. My skin started changing. I got into skincare, right?
Yes.
So it's crazy just by the numbers. It's real, and I definitely feel like you guys should invest in yourself, know more about yourself, even down to the apartments. You had told me that little hack, and I've noticed I've always been in a number 8 house.
Yes.
Every house that I go to is in a number 8. I lived also on the 14th floor, which adds up to a 5, but even that vibration was crazy too. So, and where I was at in my life.
Right.
Brother King Simon could really assist you and guide you into where you need to go and just help you with the Numerovation. And please make sure that you guys also invest in the books. My book is ashy, but let me tell you something.
As a matter of fact, any one of y'all that says you watched it on this show, I'll give you a discount for 3 of the books that I have now. I got 3 of the books. I got The Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. I have Numbers Are Simple, Children's Health is Important, and I got No Promotion is Bad Promotion. Just spell my name right. All 3 of my books, which usually go for like $80, I will give it to you for $50.
Wow, y'all better go snatch that up.
3 of these books right now.
Snatch that up.
PayPal and Zelle, and then you have to you can text me your phone number. I'll put the phone number in the chat right now after you pay. If you send it via PayPal or Zelle or Venmo, then tell me that you did pay and text me a screenshot of it. Then I will send you. Just make sure you text me your address and everything else. 347-496-1022. That's my number. I just put it in the chat. I'm putting it in chat right now. Just make sure once you say you get it for $50, all 3 of my books right now, a bundle right now for $50. Numerovation, I don't have it here with me, so you have to go to Amazon for that. But these 3 books right here, good information, good stuff to lock down, keep you busy for the holidays or Kwanzaa or whatever you're celebrating. Believe me, all good information. Oh, they said I can't post my number. It said it failed. I can't post my number in yet. But yeah, my number is 347-496-1022. You can text that, you know, you could write it back with. I'll put it in the chat for you here, so you could put it up there. 347-496-1022. If you want to book a session, text me your full name and date of birth, and with an email, because I got to send you. I got 4 different levels of doing numerology or doing numerovation. I got the 10-minute and the 15-minute, which is pre-recorded.
Can I put on the comments? It won't let me put on the comments either.
No, it's you. It's in your private chat, so you can copy and paste and put it up on the board if you want. My 347 number.
I put it on the chat. Okay, yeah. Chat, so you guys could do it. But let me make a little banner for him.
Yeah, you can text me your full name and date of birth to that number she about to post, and the email. I need your email so I can send you the 4 different levels that I do. I do the 10-minute, which is a tune-up. I do the 15 minutes, which is an alignment, and I do the 30 minutes, which is a conversation with me for 30 minutes. Then there's a 60-minute conversation with me also. So just make sure you're ready for that. And with the 30 and the 60-minute, you could actually pay in increments, like in 3s or in 2s, because it's still a circulation. And remember, every time you circulate to anybody, myself or anybody, just say currency is coming back to me 1,000 folds. That's it. That's how I look at it. Dr. B taught me that, and I keep it going.
Yeah, man.
That's my number. You can text me your full name, date of birth, and email to that particular number. And if you are going to buy the 3 books for $50, I'll mail it out. I usually do my mail outs on Wednesday. Only those that are on this show or watch this show right now. Boom. All you have to do is
investments. Let me tell you, I've had these books.
Yeah, she's had my books for a while.
I had these books for a while. And you know, they have helped me in every year. It's like I learned something new. I know in my Patreon, this is one of the books that we are going to be speaking on. Well, there's a few books of yours that we're going to be going towards. Right now, we're doing the 12 Universal Law of Success on Patreon right now.
Isn't that by Harris?
Yes,
Herbert Harris. I spoke to him one time, and I was supposed to interview him, but we never got to get
amazing. I love that book.
Yeah, I have it. I've had it for years. Herbert Harris book.
Love that book. Yeah, so yes, Brother King Simon, make sure you guys donate. Let me just pull up the other banner. Make sure y'all screenshot it. This is also what you can screenshot right here. That's his information. I highly recommend that you guys, just like you get my readings, Brother King Simon will keep you sharp. If you think I'm sharp, I get it from the most powerful men out here, the divine masculines, and he's top 10, number 1 for real. And I couldn't have made it this far without you. And you putting me on to so many beautiful people and opening up the doors. I love the video of the gatekeeping. That really opened up my eyes as well when it came down to the whole, saying it and then looking at it in a different way.
It has a positive protection because
you have a positive.
You protect your daughter just like you protect your daughter, just like your mother should protect you. That's gatekeeping also. People don't.
Yeah, but the community does need gatekeepers if you think about it. So I loved how you broke it down and made it into in a positive way, because it does have that negative narrative, I
mean, even in the spiritual, remember, even in the Kemetic philosophy, and if you ever watched Indiana Jones, in order for them to get to those great places, they had knives flying, and those are the ancestors, those are the seraphim that swinging those swords coming through. They're not letting you through without you being initiated. They're not letting you in. You got to be able to get in there. So yes, there's an initiation. Yes, you have to understand that to even get this type of knowledge, we had to be initiated. That's why it went underground, because people were trying to kill them for it. Back in the day, they went underground for years.
Yeah.
So once I understand, Pythagoras and his whole Pythagorean people had to go underground.
Yeah.
Because they was trying to kill them and lynch them. People in the Chaldean, they would cut off their hands for that knowledge, cut out their tongue for that knowledge, cut off their head, kill children. They did a lot for that knowledge. This type of knowledge that we're talking about today. Right now, we're in the age of Aquarius, so everything is being revealed. All mysteries are being revealed. But back in them days, in the Piscean era and those other eras before, they was going off, yo. The Taurus era, they was going off.
Yeah.
So we don't know how blessed or how blissed we are in this cycle in this age of Aquarius, because this is the age of knowing, not believing anymore. That's Pisces. This is know. You better know what you know, and after that, you better know that.
Yes.
And stop playing.
I appreciate you, King, coming and giving us this information. Just to paraphrase on what we spoke about today, aligning your mind and spirit using Numerovation for emotional balance.
Yeah,
you should definitely look into your family, look into the bloodline, look into Brother King Simon, mental stability. This has helped me a lot.
The only one of his kind.
One of one. And it's so much information. I remember Brother King Simon, you were saying I was only using one page out of the book. Remember, I was just going off that one page.
What are you doing? Go through that book, girl. I got much more in there.
You got so many other stuff telling me, and I want to. Because it's just so much. It's just so much.
It's the family. It's the only book of its kind that focuses directly on mental health.
If y'all want to be sharp, you better get that book.
You know, and that's very important because my books, I don't, you know, like Brother Lloyd, I always call this book the Bible because he touch and go throughout the whole book with every little thing from cars to house to everything. Not me. Because I'm born under that one frequency, I'm direct to the point. So I'm not fluffing nothing. It's not that thick, but it's worth it. This is a hardcover. The hardcover is $88. And that's an exclusive edition. If you want the $88 one, you got to contact me for that exclusive edition, signed and sealed and all that. But I'm telling you, family, everything is focused. Numbers are simple. People are complicated. No promotion is bad promotion. Dealing with my promotional life only. And then numbers are simple. Children's health. I stay focused on that alone when I deal with them. I stay focused because I think I don't like when people tell me, or I dislike when people say, oh, this is the book, this is the complete guide to numbers or the complete guide to tarot. And how can it be complete when we're still in cycles now? And there's things that's evolving and becoming more innovative. It's not complete. Numerovation is not even complete. I'm still learning and still evolving. And I invented the word. And if you Google this word up, it will take you right to me in AI on Google. And I put it up in the lexicon dictionary, but it has to build algorithms in order for it to be accepted heavily and be part of the dictionary vernacular. So
you already know.
Oh, we ain't joking. In the next 100 years, remember, numerology, the word, this last point, the word numerology was not founded by the Chaldeans or Pythagorean. Remember, they spoke Greek and Roman, and the Chaldeans spoke cuneiform. They spoke that. So it was another word for that study of numbers. Remember, it came about by a woman who was adopted named Dr. Julia Seton. Dr. Julia Seton founded that word in 1907, and then it became popularized over time. So I created another word in for motivating you with your numbers, and that's going to be popularized over time. I'm leaving the world. I'm leaving. Numerovation is easy to say, but people get caught up. It was hard to say numerology back in those days. You know, but I'm so proud of you, Sister Paris, and Sister Saturn's daughter, for doing what you do and all your products and all the stuff that you deal with, and your growth and your beautiful daughter's growth. Your mommy's, your mother born the same day I'm born.
Oh my God, yes.
So you know the energy of February 1st, just like I know the energy of March 17th. Because
sure enough do, baby. You sure enough do.
Yeah, big up to Abundance Child, big up to Color Curiosity and the whole crew, big up to all of them, man, and all my peoples that are with me, and big up to Dr. B, who was on with me earlier today.
I saw. Shout out to Dr. B.
Yeah. And one thing I want to leave with your audience, there's something that I want to tell y'all, that there's a saying that says, without gratitude, there is no prosperity. So you got to get up every morning and be grateful that you got up and you awoke in that next day to be able to make it happen for yourself, your family, and whatever you're going to do in life. There's no gratitude. Without gratitude, there is no prosperity. And I'm not talking about money-wise, but just energetically-wise. There's no prosperity without gratitude. Get up with gratitude. That word, I've broken that frequency word down on my channel too. I've gotten into breaking down words and sayings and quotes now, because we say words, sayings, and quotes more than we say our own name and birthday on a daily basis. That's why I break down those things on my channel, King Simon Presents. and
Yeah,
the
you guys
fullness.
gotta check him. You gotta check it. You gotta check it out. I'll make sure to share on the community board, you guys.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you
know you.
so much, Brother King Simon. Everybody, please go donate to him and please go get his books. It's worth the investment. If you fuck with me, you fuck with King, and that's just how it is. We got to keep it in a circle. We got to keep it in alignment. Go get a consultation from the amazing Brother King Simon, the one and only. You better get him while he's hot. He working with Billy Carson. He working with some big people.
I'm about
So you
to.
better
Y'all
get
don't
him
even
while
know.
he's
Y'all don't know what's about to happen. You know, they reached out to me. 19 Keys reached out to me. Y'all don't even know what's about to go happen.
Y'all better get him while he's here.
Y'all don't know what's about to happen. And like Fat Joe say, yesterday's price is not
today's price. Okay. Shit. They fuck around and find out. That's what I'm trying to tell them. Like, man, y'all see him right here. Like, y'all better get up on King Simon before he gonna be booked and busy. He gonna be like, damn, why you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
thank
big up
you,
to Brother
King.
Rich. Big up to Brother Rich, of course. I love when Rich had you on. Big up to my brother Rich, my brother, for having you on. And every time I recommend somebody, he always say, you know, let me check him out first, King. He already knew you for a long time, but he finally needed to check you out and say, yo, boom, boom, back.
And even that, like, I want to. The next time I go on his thing, because I asked him a question last time. I'm gonna pick his brain because he's so different. Like he's so different. And the fact that he got me with I watched you for a year before I contacted you, that really got me.
Yes.
Because I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Ask my family. Ask people on Patreon. I will watch you. I will watch you. I'll watch your channel. I won't say nothing to you.
And he a Virgo, you know, he Virgo energy. So you know he gonna analyze.
Virgo moon. So I'm same way. Like I will watch somebody.
And he's 17 too. He's September 17th. So you know he got that 17th. I knew he was gonna connect with you anyway.
I'm the March 17th.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna connect with you. Remember, Virgo and Pisces are opposition, but really they're not. Like I like what Sister Myra Mars says. We really complement you to each other. It's just communication is what creates the opposition if you're not communicating clearly. So yes, we really complement. The Pisces and Virgo is the yin and yang of each other. And that's what you got to understand. Aquarius and Leo, the yin and yang of each other. And that's what you got to understand. So that's what I respect about Sister Myra Moss that says it's not 12 signs, it's 6 of them if you put them together as the yin and the yang. They working together because in the Aquarius age, the Leo will benefit from it because it's the other side. And all other people will benefit if they study the Aquarius and the Leo mantra. The Leo mantra is I rule. The Aquarius mantra is I know. But in order for you to rule, you got to know first. And then apply that knowledge to be the ruler in whatever you do and however you do in this age.
Alba just said she ordered your book. Long overdue.
Hey Alba, how you doing, my friend?
She gonna be on the channel after her birthday too. She a Sagittarius, so
¿Cómo está, Alba?
She in her critical cycle right now. Next time we'll speak more about that stuff too, for sure.
When her birthday?
Alba, when's your birthday?
You know, we are gonna start that. We'll be here all night.
Yeah, I know, right. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. That's for another time. But listen, y'all. Once again, here's his information, right? And then this is his number right here. If you guys want,
she born November 30th. She born the same day as Sanchez, the reggae artist. She born the same day as Winston Churchill. She born the same day as I just mentioned Mark Twain, born the same day. Great writers. I love
Mark Twain.
They need to write. Y'all need to write. Y'all need to write, express through music.
Alba she got books in her. That's why. Got a lot of Alba, you need a book, a session with King Simon. He'll tell you what to do. Because, like I said, I made the Udemy courses, the books that I came out with, the ebooks was all through King Simon. King Simon said you need to write your book. And at first, I didn't know what he was talking about, like books, like what you talking about. And the books just started coming.
But you know, being born, remember, anytime 3 is connected to a human being, whether it's of their name or their birthdays, or the year they're born or the month you're born in the 3rd month. That's right there tells you what you're supposed to do, because the 3rd in certain system of the numerology, the month represents the early parts of your life. So more than likely, when you was young, you probably like to draw and so that's what that was. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I tell people, watch the old movie called The Shogun Assassin. where the mother got killed and the assassin was about to avenge the death of the child, avenge the death of the mother. So the child was just born out of the mother. So he put the child in front of a ball, a colorful ball, where if he went to the ball, he would go to his mother immediately. He would have cut off the head of the child and give it to the mother's spirit. And he went to the sword and he put the sword on the ball. The child went towards the sword. So he said, "You are my child. So we're going to avenge your mother together." And he put that, and that was what he reached for at a young age, the sword. He wanted that shiny object, and he became a shogun assassin with his dad. And that's what it was. You got to know that your gifts and your talents and skills are in your name, but they also reveal in the early parts, the formative years, until somebody or people start beating it down. Beating down your talent, beating down your gift. You start seeing things from a young age. I used to see all types of entities in my room from a young age until your parents said, don't do that. You'll put you in the church and they said, don't do that. They put you in this and they don't do that. That's what happens to many of us with our gifts, our talent, and our skills.
Try to get shut down. And even now, we're going to have to do a part 2, King. Like, we always have to
I get it.
You said 45 minutes, long it turned to an hour.
I know. Yo, we love each other. You know how that goes, sis. We just in love with each other.
Listen, I gotta go take the baby in the bubble bath. All right.
Yeah, man. I took a bubble bath 2 days ago. My mother used to put me and my sister in a bubble. I
love bubble baths.
I love bubble
baths. I don't know if it's a Pisces thing, but I love me a nice little bubble bath with some sea salt in that.
Yeah, with some sea salt and all that. I do the bubble bath one morning, a spiritual bubble bath, and I tell people that. I start looking. When me and my sister was young, we used to actually start looking at the bubbles as like mountains and all that kind of stuff. And we used to have our little dolls going up. I lived my G.I. Joe climbing up the mountain to go and fight each other. I used to do all kind of crazy. But you got to go back to that child mentality. You got to go back and really tap in, because in your swinging on a swing, if you used to play with Barbie dolls, go buy a Barbie collection. Yeah. And take you back into time so it can bring out the creativity in you from when you was a child.
I be going to, when I take Lavender to the bouncy house, she thinks she going for herself. I be having
you fun. You bouncing up there? I'm gonna bounce with you.
I'm gonna be up in there having fun. She's like, "Mommy, get out of here!" I'm like,
I'm doing it too.
I'm having fun. Like, it's
my grandchildren. We had a little party, and my grandchildren see me come in the bouncy house, and I felt over and out they all came around me. Granddad, you all right? I was like, yeah, this was fun. What are you talking about?
We need to live more into that, because being an adult, it just gets so. I'm not gonna say it's depressing. It's just a lot of.
It gets a lot.
And we don't get to have that fun anymore. Definitely, if you have children and stuff like that. So, but yes, baby guys. All right, that's it. I love you. Listen, make sure, let me just share. Well, what's time, y'all? Go throw some money. You don't have no Cash App, right? You don't have Cash App, right?
Nah, they took my Cash App. Cash App, I only have an emergency Cash App when people want to book a session, because my business partner, she gave me a Cash App, but I don't want to mess up a Cash App. That's why I don't promote it to do donations or none of that.
Okay. Well, this is his information here. PayPal him, guys. We got PayPal. Venmo here. We have here Zelle. All right. And throw some dollars, invest in him, get the books. Is worth it. Definitely, if you're looking to improve your health, improve your mental health, and even your family, getting to know your family, getting to know your, like you said, the last names. It's very important for us to dive more deep into it.
Yes.
Last thing, I know I said I was gonna get off. I remember before my Walla died, and you had told me this. I think I was in Jersey when you said that. This is like, I think even when the baby first, like when I first had the baby and I was living in Far Rockaway, he was like, get to know your grandma, get to know your Walla. Ask her the stories.
Yes.
Ask her the stories. And
I did that with my grandfather and I did that with them.
You just so wise, man. Anyways, go ahead. Book King Simon.
Did you get to ask her? Did you get to talk to her? Really talk to her?
Yes, I did get to speak to her. And even in between the times of me being there, I learned a lot about my family.
Yes.
I learned a lot about the family. Just how she was and the things that she done. I'm just a reincarnated ancestors of them.
That's right.
The family kind of got whitewashed through being Catholic and stuff. But my Walla knew who I was. You know what I'm saying? That's why she was perfectly fine. Me being that person to take her to the next to that side, you know, and I had amazing time doing that.
And I'm happy. I've seen some picture of you braiding her hair and all that.
Yes.
That is beautiful. That is so beautiful, sister.
Yes.
I used to sit down with my grandfather, and he told me the story of him knowing Marcus Garvey and helping with the organization and all that, singing the song again. Now my ears was ringing as soon as I mentioned that. My ears start ringing now, like yo, because he's telling me like, yeah, you remember? I said, yeah, I remember. I remember everything you told me at his 90th, 80th, or 89th or 90th birthday, and he lived to be 103, and they transitioned right in his sleep. He transitioned right in his sleep.
I pray that we have you into 100 because I can't. I hope I pass away before you pass away. I don't want you.
Oh, don't do that. Oh, man, don't do that.
No, I can't. I just can't. I really can't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not to get all this emotional.
My ancestors have taken me where I was going to go, and I'm not afraid to go. So I already know, but we're not going to talk about that.
All right, yeah, okay. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Thank you so much for King Simon. I'm going to text you later on. I'm going to just get the baby together, and I'll text you later, all right?
All right.
No Some problem. People already said that Mama Love said she's already done. I don't know what she did, but I guess they're investing in you over there.
Already done.
All right.
I appreciate y'all all. Thank you.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you again. All right, you guys. Peace and love.